That's so family. Last rev up of the year. Let's get some cameras on. I'll be looking at myself this whole time. Tom, what's going on, man?
Morning.
Morning.
Oh, morning. How are you?
Good. Feeling, joining. All right, everyone have a good weekend. Anything interesting? Nothing. Caitlin, how are you?
Yes, last night I submitted an offer.
Submitted an offer. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Round of applause.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything back. No.
Did you text the agent, let them know that you sent the offer?
Yes. It was open door.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, they can. Yeah, a lot of times they're going to be 24 hours before they're going to give you any kind of answer. But usually Open Door will tell you if they have an offer or not already. When you call them, do they tell you if they had any?
Yes, I received the email that they received my offer.
Yeah, but I'm saying a lot of times they will tell you if they have another offer.
Like through the text.
Yeah, a lot of times when you call in on that number, like they'll say, hey, this is the address. This is if you want to schedule a showing, click this number. We currently do not have any offers in hand or something. A lot of times they'll say that. I was just curious if they mentioned that at all. Well, good, man. Is it a pretty competitive offer for what it's listed at?
Yes, I would say.
All right. Keep it secret. I like it. All right. Well, good, man. Hopefully you get your first offer accepted there. That'd be pretty cool.
Yes. And the agent is traveling. He texted me. The listing agent.
Mm-hmm.
He told me he was traveling yesterday.
Traveling, gotcha. Okay. I thought you said it was troubling. I was like, well, that's not good. All right. Well, good luck, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
So for those of you who didn't hear, Tom submitted his first offer last night. Tyler, I believe over the weekend submitted probably his first offer, right?
I submitted mine last night as well, but
yeah.
The guy said we weren't even in ballpark. I think I told you that. But
Yep.
I got an exclusive, agreement
buyer's
on it.
Agency agreement.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, there's a lot of times. I mean, that's the biggest part of it is at least getting that exclusive buyer's agency agreement. So Tyler basically felt like the offer that he was going to be put in for his client was probably too low, but it was still worth writing up just because he could go ahead and get that buyer's agency and working with real estate agency, working with real estate signed as well. So worth it in the long run. Heath ran his very first listing appointment on Saturday. Yeah. How you feeling after that?
Good. Feel good.
Yeah.
Gotta stay in contact with him, and I sent him a listing agreement on Saturday night, and then I'm just gonna follow up with him on Wednesday. Hopefully I can talk to him a little bit, and then maybe he can sign here coming this weekend or so. But
yeah, I mean, I do think after running the comps before you went out there, and then what you told me about the house when you were there, I do think it's worth, I think, significantly more than what we originally thought. Tyler, you had a similar situation where sometimes it's hard to comp certain houses, and the one Heath went on was very similar. I mean, to be honest, we both thought, hey, let's list this thing at 99.9, right? Like right under 100,000. That's where it kind of is. And then after seeing it in person and look at some of the other comps, I think Heath's property is probably worth maybe 185. Which is a huge difference, right? So that's why all the research we do before we go out there is, we need to do it, but there's times we get out there and it's a completely different situation. So you have to be able to kind of adjust on the fly. So He keep me in touch on that one. Let me know when you reach back out to him. I'll be happy to jump on a call with him as well.
Okay.
I think the one thing we might have missed on that one when you're there is maybe, and Tyler, I think this is probably good for you too, is just trying to find a way to create a little bit of urgency when you're there, like up front, and then kind of using that after you've done your presentation and gone over the price to kind of hold their feet to the fire. So we can work on that a little bit as well. So anyone else do any showings or real estate activities over the weekend?
Hey, this is Karen. So I have a client I met in November, looking at some residential land in Indian land. And I
Mhm.
believe I'm writing an offer.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. He wants to go in about 25 less than asking, even though I've given him more than enough comps to substantiate. But he has this concept that he thinks that because it's been on the market, now it's vacant land, land is
Right.
always on the market much longer. He seems to think days of market gives him the opportunity to go under the asking price. And one thing I always do is I talk to the listing agent, create a relationship with them while I'm in the midst of figuring everything out. And I do ask if the seller is firm on the price. You can't ask what they'll take, but you can ask, are they firm? And because I did that, I relayed, yes, they're firm on the price, holding at 625. We've got to go with that. And they did actually come up. They originally wanted to go with 525. I almost fell out of my
Wow.
chair.
So
Then,
you got them to around, you got them to put in an offer. They're gonna put an offer for 600 even.
yes,
Okay.
even
I
though
mean,
the
that's,
comps say 625 or more, actually more.
yeah. I mean, days on the market is a little less when it comes to the vacant land, but at the same time, I mean, if that offer starts with a 6 and they're at 625 and you're at 600, that's pretty close. And you know, going into holidays and they've been on the market for 6 months or longer, I mean, I think you're very close. I mean, that's I
Okay.
mean, it's 5%.
Okay,
so,
good. Well, I'm
Yeah,
gonna go in with that and hope that it all swings because I need this business.
yeah, I mean,
as well.
that'd be a great transaction. And you know, if your price is a little bit less, maybe you can make up with it with, I mean, is it gonna be a cash deal?
Well, they're working on cash. However, they're accumulating it, and they also are going to be giving me a conventional pre-authorization, not pre-qualification letter, which the banker is working on. And then the other thing they want to do is a 45-day closing because DHEC's going to be involved. And the last I heard, DHEC is out at least 4 months for getting out there, but they are open to the idea of hiring a soil scientist to go
Right.
out there. So they'll hit on that, but they do want to see if they can extend to maybe even 60-day close.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you're concerned about the price, I mean, if you can try to sweeten everything else, I mean, I guess you can't do a 2-week close, but maybe sweeten the the earnest money or because it is South Carolina. So maybe just
Well,
sweeten the pot a little bit with everything else.
The thing
Um,
though, Brian, is that they only want to come in with earnest money of 2,000, no, 10,000. They want to do earnest money, 10,000, because they'll get that back if they walk, but they only want to do termination of 1,500. I don't know if that's acceptable on land or not, but I can't get them higher. Originally, we were going to try to do a contingency on it where we were asking Lancaster County to consider a zoning change during our due diligence period, and they were going to give 25,000 for termination, but they've decided to back away from the contingency completely and just swing with DHEC and see where they can go with that.
and for those of you who don't know, you know, North Carolina, you put due diligence and earnest money down up front. So basically you pay due diligence in North Carolina to get into a contract. In South Carolina, you only pay due diligence on the backside if you back out. So it's a little bit different in South Carolina, but yeah, that's good. I would get that submitted and hopefully they can work it out. I mean, 600, 625 is pretty freaking close. We'll jump into this real quick and get on module 12. This is the last module on this. Where did everyone start at? Just so I know. One, you started at 1? So this is your last one? Oh,
I
you better
started
speak
it.
up. You better speak up today then. I need to hear from you today.
I
Tyler, you're
started
pretty-
on 3.
You started on 3.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty
Start on 5.
5.
But I also started on 3.
Gotcha.
Started-
Okay. Guys, so you guys will have in January you'll have module 1 and module 2 to go. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, module 12, we'll roll this one pretty quickly. This one's just about the closing of the sale, getting to the finish line, and then they kind of post sale stuff. We will run through this. We've already been through. You guys haven't seen this. We'll skip all this stuff. Understanding the closing disclosure, when to open escrow, what is time is of the essence, and how to navigate the pending path successfully. And a lot of you will find that getting your clients is going to be the easy part, hopefully, for you. A lot of you will find that navigating the escrow part is where it gets very tricky. So we'll work on that today. Due diligence types, timeframes, contingencies is literally what Karen was just talking about. Who assists on the pending path, communication follow-up, lead follow-up, and creating clients for life, which is absolutely the objective. Closing disclosure. Have you guys, anyone seen the closing disclosure? Knows what one is? Who wants to describe that? Tom, what would you describe the closing disclosure as?
Like they record everything
Okay.
and they record everything and they sign.
All
Can
right.
you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Caitlin, what would you describe the closing disclosures as, since you're gonna get picked on today?
Honestly, I haven't, I've seen one, but I haven't seen one recently to really know in depth, I guess, what it is.
Gotcha. Okay. So the closing disclosure is the form that the buyer's gonna get 3 days before closing. It's gonna have the breakdown of all the fees from the attorney, from the sale, from everything that they're gonna be basically paying. This is a closing disclosure. This is just a sample one. I'm not even sure whose this is, but this is from 2020. It was a house in Monroe. It's got their loan amount, 428. It's got their interest rate. It's got their monthly principal interest. It basically breaks down their entire loan for them, how much they're going to pay over the course of the loan. So they're educated on what they're going to be paying, right? And for someone that's borrowing money, again, this is something that your clients need to have if you're on the buying side 3 days before close, right? And if you're in a situation where you've got to close on Friday and the bank hasn't provided a closing disclosure Wednesday or Thursday, then you will not be closing, right? That closing will be scheduled the following week. This has to come out pretty quickly. Just like when someone gets a loan, typically within the first 24 to 48 hours, that initial rates is what they're going to be given by the lender, so they know roughly where they're going to be at before they get into the process, before their due diligence ends. But this is just a breakdown of everything that they're going to be paying, right? So it's very important that your clients understand this, that you guys, and I'll email this to all you guys today so you guys can have a look at it. Their lender's going to walk them through this, right? So if you're not understanding all of this, jump on a call with the lender, with your client, and walk them through that. But it's just a breakdown of all the fees. Opening escrow. Tong, you've got an offer on a deal right now, right? On a
Yes.
house. When will you open escrow?
When I like give earnest money.
Yep. So if you get an email back this morning with the signed contract, right? So it's an executed contract, right?
Yeah, if I get
Oh,
it.
Yeah. So when both parties have signed the offer, and if they send it back to you with the counter, then it won't be fully executed until your client signs it and counters it back, right?
Okay.
And both parties have received the offer and acknowledged that they've received it, right? So that's when you have a fully executed agreement. At that point in time, then that's when you're getting the attorneys involved, and you're starting to send, due diligence and earnest monies over, right? So that's when escrow is open, when you guys have a fully executed contract.
Okay.
All right, so closing the sale. We have loan approval, earnest money deposit. Due diligence, when is due diligence usually given? The due diligence money? Anyone have a good answer besides Karen?
Isn't it within 3 days of the acceptance of the contract? Or is
Okay,
it, it might be faster than that. I know it's time of the essence, so as
Right.
soon as possible, they get a check in hand.
anyone else want to answer that?
Within 24 hours.
Mhm. So yeah, so typically it's supposed to be within 24 hours, right? So the due diligence money it's almost coming with an offer. So you need to let your clients know, like, hey, you need to make sure they're understanding of the due diligence. And I literally just had this happen to me, and it's embarrassing, but I'll tell you anyways. But you need to let your people know that the due diligence money is this amount, earnest money is this amount. They should be telling you what those amounts are, right? And understand that when they write that offer, when you email that to the listing agent and they accept it, they need to be writing checks, right? Those checks, and they'd be writing a check within 24 hours for the due diligence, and writing that check for the earnest money. And how it's delivered is up to the seller, right? So sometimes you'll take both of those checks and you'll meet up with the listing agent and you'll hand them both the checks. Sometimes you'll take that due diligence check and you'll take it straight to the seller's house. And then you'll take the earnest money check and you'll take it straight to the attorney. It really just depends. I just had one where they had a Dropbox at their office, and I had my buyer drop off the checks at the office, right? So sometimes you'll be the one dropping off the checks, sometimes your buyer will. It really just depends, but it needs to be very, very quickly. Time is of the essence. You can lose the deal from this, right? I mean, it says right in the agreement, if that money's not given over in a timely manner, that this contract is null and void, right? So I just had one fall out of contract last week, or the end of the week before. They accepted our offer, and then my people on I think a Thursday, and my people on Monday still had not given the check, and their answer was, we have to wait till Friday. So now we're talking about over a full week, right? So now it's up to the seller. They could have waited if they wanted, but they didn't, and I don't blame them. It was a multiple offer situation. They terminated our contract and they accepted another offer. So it was very, very unfortunate. I lost the sell out of it, and it wasn't that I didn't tell them up front they need to have it. They just were not. They just were not turning that money over, unfortunately, and that cost them a house. It's been showing houses for 5 months. That's the house they finally wanted, and they didn't get it because they didn't want to write the checks in time. So time is of the essence is absolutely the truth, right? So understand that when you write that contract, be ready to have your clients hand over checks. If not, then it's going to look bad on you. It's going to look bad on your clients. So then we have inspections, right? The inspections need to be done by what date?
Due diligence period.
Yeah. So your inspection need to be done before the end of the due diligence, right? I mean, you guys think if your due diligence ends on December 15th and you're doing your inspections on December 14th, you're probably not even going to have that report back yet, right? There's a lot of times it's 1 to 3 days before you even get the inspection report back. Sometimes longer, right? So if you're scheduling it up close, what you're not allowing is for your clients to go over the repairs and ask for what repairs they want. So you want to make sure that the second that you get in escrow, that you guys are starting to schedule those inspections. What are some different inspections that you might do?
General inspections and
Home, this is the
HVAC.
normal home inspection.
Yes,
Okay. Kaylin,
And
come on. I know you can list a couple here.
and HVAC.
That's normally going to come along with the
Home
home
inspection.
inspection,
And past
right? So we got home, pest,
and septic.
septic, well, right? If they're septic and well. You might also have radon.
Right on, yes.
So that's another one that you might have. So and there's some other things that can be inspected as well, but those are your typical main five. Does anyone know what radon is? Has anyone had familiar with that?
Yes, it's a gas
Mhm.
from the
So the radon test, so you guys know, something you want to ask your buyers, do they want to do a radon test? And you can't see radon. It is a gas. It's known to potentially cause cancer. And what the radon test does is they put a machine in your house and they usually leave it for 48 to 72 hours, and it just tests the radon in the air. And if it comes back high, then you're going to need to do a radon remittance and get rid of that. Not every buyer wants to do that. Your job is to educate them on what that is and ask them if they want to do it. It's not super expensive to do, but I kind of recommend doing it. Just it doesn't hurt to know, right? So that's what that is. But always ask. Repair request. The repair request is a fun thing that you guys are going to be going through, right? And I've got one that I should be getting a repair request for one of my listings today, and I already know they're going to ask for a couple of things, but the repair request is going to come with everything from those inspections on what they want. And there's different ways that people can ask for things. What are some different things that people might ask, or how they might ask? So do they always have to ask for repairs?
no credits, seller credits.
Yeah. So and I'm hoping that's what this one's going to be today, is a credit, right? So sometimes you're going to get a repair request and it's going to have fix the leaky toilet, fix the electrical outlet here, fix the garage door, put a moisture barrier in the underneath the house. You might get a list of a bunch of things they want you to do. You might also say, in lieu of repairs, $4,000 credit, right? So there's different ways to do it. You just got to see what makes the most sense for your buyer or your seller. You need to get that stuff agreed on before that due diligence period ends, or the deal's going to fall through, or you're going to have to file for an extension. Closing and possession. This is one that can be tricky as well. I mean, and typically when the day of settlement, right? Seller moves out, buyer moves in, right? There are times where that's not the case. And I've got a seller right now that we're going to close hopefully on the 29th of this month. And she's moving out of state, and we've asked for a 40-day seller after settlement staying in the house, right? So they will close on the house, she will get paid all the money, and she will remain in the house for an extra 40 days. And sometimes the buyer will ask for, lease back or rent back. And in this case, they didn't ask for anything. We're getting to stay in the house for an extra 40 days for free. But that all needs to be written up, prior to getting the offer and getting that accepted before it goes too long. There will also be times where the buyer may move into the house before close, right? Any downfalls with that, do you think? Okay, what's the potential downfall of a buyer moving into the house before closing?
Okay.
potential, I would say a buyer moving in before closing, they could mess something up. That's a very big one, but also I'm pretty sure that when that's the scenario, the seller has to purchase renter's insurance for the.
Yeah, so there's
last
definitely some liability that comes along with it.
Mhm.
You got to worry about, things getting messed up or them getting hurt or hurting the house. You also have this funny thing where what if they don't like the house as much as they thought they would and they haven't closed yet and they can still back out? I've seen it happen. I've actually seen it happen a few times. It always sounds like a good idea. You get them moved in, they're kind of locked in, right? Because they're already in the house. Not necessarily. And then the problem with that is getting them out of the house. If they end up not buying the house, right? I've also seen it where the buyer moves in early and their loan falls through. Now they're living in that house, right? And that can cause a problem. And then you're trying to sell the house to someone else and you got a previous buyer in your house. So not to steer you away from it, but just know the pros and cons of it. There are certain times that's what it takes to get the deal. Maybe you got somebody moving in from out of state. They just took a job. They need to move into a place ASAP, and that's the position they're in. But just know that there can be some downfalls there. Due diligence and contingencies. We've kind of already talked about the due diligence. Seller disclosures later missing, deadlines missed. These are all things that you guys gotta make sure that you are keeping up with. I find the best way to do it is again, I'm a big Google Calendar person. This is the close date. This is when due diligence ends. This is when my inspections are, right? So I've got everything on my calendar for the whole month of where this deal is, right? So 123 Main Street, well inspection, 123 Main Street, general inspection. Right, so I'm trying to put dates on all this stuff, so I don't miss anything, because if you do, again, it's getting to due diligence can cause deals to fall through a lot. We kind of talked about this last week, the week before. During the escrow process, especially for you new guys, you guys should be handling this, right? Everyone can use a transaction coordinator when they want to, when they get to that point. In the beginning, you guys should be doing this because you guys need to be educated. You guys need to put in the dedication towards each one of these deals, and then you need to be educating your clients so that you understand the whole process. So for your first couple of deals, make sure that you stay on top of that escrow. Don't just get a signed contract today. Tom, get that accepted offer today and be like, all right, I'm done. This is actually when you go to work, right? So finding a potential client, getting them under contract is, I think, the easy part. Getting them to the closing table is where it gets tricky. So make sure you guys are staying on top of that. And this is huge. Call, text, email daily, even if there's nothing to report, right? And when you're under contract, you need to be talking to these people very often, whether you're on the buying side or the selling side. It's the same thing when you have a listing or a buyer in general, is constant communication, right? So they know that you're working. And when you talk to buyers and sellers, their number one complaint about agents is normally lack of communication, right? I mean, we've all heard that, like, I never heard from my agent, never talked to him, never got any feedback on my showings, right? You don't want to be that person. So it doesn't stop when you get into escrow, right? Understand that they're more worried now in escrow than they were before, right? They're about to spend hundreds of thousands. So make sure that you are contacting them often. And again, transaction coordinator, it's you. And then again, in your calendar or your CRM, make sure that you are following up and documenting all that stuff as well. Creating clients for life. This one is super, super important, right? Especially in the beginning, you guys are going to be fighting for every new client, right? Every single new person you meet is a potential client. What you don't want to do is go into your second year and every single one you're fighting for, and then year 3, right? So what you want to do is each one of your clients is a potential person that's going to bring you business every year, right? So as you guys get more experience, your job will get hopefully easier and easier, right? Once you have 10 clients, 20 clients, 30 clients, and you're constantly reaching out to them, and maybe not necessarily that they're buying or selling that often, right? Because a lot of times the average person only buys or sells every 5 years, but did they know somebody and they had a pleasant experience with you, right? And they're giving you referrals. So creating clients for life is huge. You've done, you've got paid, now the fun begins. Create raving fans. You want to make sure that you get reviews, right? You want to be posting, when your house is closed, you want to be posting something on your social media every time, right? You want to be sending it out to your other people in Instagram, like, hey, I just closed a house 10 minutes away from you. Would love to talk to you about closing your house, right? You want to take that opportunity when you get a listing, when you get a client, when you do a showing, when you get a sold house, every one of those milestones, like you should be posting and sharing, right? Because that's what's getting you other business. I literally just got this over the weekend, a review on a house that I sold a while back. She finally just left a review for it and left a very nice review. I helped her buy and sell this house. Sold my house on the very first day and helped her get into her dream house. But this will be shared on my social media. Like, I have my social media set up where every Thursday at 2 o'clock you post something for me, right? So I have that set up, so it's out of my hands, so I don't have to worry about doing that. I use Rate My Agent. It's a great tool, and as you get clients, make sure that you're getting them to do that right away. So you can always ask down the road, but doing it right then and there is going to be super helpful for you, right? They're happy, they're in their brand new house. Get them to leave you a review. You must have an after the sale action plan. This is, let's see if I can do this. Can you all see this little screen? This is a post client for buyers. This one is a post for sellers. And this is just kind of a, one day on the market, email touching, email, call 6 months out. Just some different things, right? Send a gift card, send a happy anniversary, happy birthday, Merry Christmas type things. I can send you guys these screenshots as well, but just make sure that you're following up with these people in your CRM, however you want to do it, but it doesn't hurt to do it a lot, right? You're not going to bug them every week, but reaching out to someone every month or every other month, it's not a lot, right? You're not asking for business every time, but just touching them, just let them know, like, hey, like, you appreciate their business, right? Super helpful. We didn't go over this. Everyone seen a settlement statement before? The settlement statement, this is the final HUD, right? So this is a house here in Huntersville that I sold a couple months back. This is what your people are signing at the table, right? So this is the buyer and the seller will sign this. This is going to have a breakdown of where the money's coming from the seller, from the buyer, who's paying what, and your commission's going to be on here, right? So this is very important to you. You see right here, Realty One Group is paid $19,000. The other company got paid $13,000 of the commission. Has a breakdown of all the insurance is being paid, taxes, and this is what you're gonna get a final copy of once everyone has signed it, and you're gonna upload this into SkySlope, right? So this is you need this, right? So the day of closing, if you're not attending closing, you need to be emailing the attorney after everyone has signed and asking for that final HUD, right? That final settlement statement. This when this is signed and then the house is recorded, means the deal is official, right? So those are the kind of final steps to having it done. And again, having the house recorded means it's official. So there's gonna be times where if you have an afternoon closing and everyone signs at 3 or 4 o'clock, that house might not record that same day, right? Usually it's a 3 or 4 cutoff time for it to be recorded, so it's official with the city. So if it's a late afternoon closing, understand that it might not officially record to the following morning. And if it doesn't record to the following morning, then funds definitely won't go out the following morning, right? So understand that, and understand a lot of times a seller will not hand over keys until it has been officially recorded. Even if everyone is already signed, a lot of times the seller's not going to let the buyer have the keys until it's officially recorded. So again, if you have an afternoon closing and your buyer's got their U-Haul out in the parking lot, they're ready to move in, understand that they might not get the keys in, and you've needed to talk to that listing agent prior, like, hey, like, can we get keys at closing, even if it doesn't record because it's an afternoon closing, right? So you need to make sure that you're asking about this stuff in advance. Again, some of this stuff's going to sneak up on you guys, but when you guys are getting close to that, get me on the phone, get your mentor on the phone, and just say, hey, this is my closing, it's my closing time. What are some things I need to watch out for? So you kind of know in advance, so you can avoid these pitfalls. And I know the pitfalls because it's unfortunately happened to me on everything that I'm telling you guys a time or two. So any questions about the settlement statement? No. All right. All right. So again, this is Clients for Life, again, asking for referrals, asking them to post on their social media, getting referrals. Again, this is what I just showed you: a birthday card, holiday card, electronic emails. Some people write them a hand note, which I think is super nice afterwards. It says a lot. I should be sending out Christmas cards today or tomorrow. Hopefully my wife will write them for me because I have terrible handwriting, but it is a very nice touch. And obviously you're going to put another business card in there, and you will be surprised how many people will call or text back from that. So, well, that is it. You guys were surprisingly quiet this morning. Anyone have any questions off of that, or?
So, Brian, I have a quick question about appraisal.
Okay.
So appraisal has to be done during the due diligence period too, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, typically you want all that stuff done as soon as possible. Depending on what kind of loan that the buyer has, the mortgage company is typically going to schedule that appraisal, whether it's conventional or FHA. And again, understand that those are different appraisals, right? So FHA is going to be tougher than conventional. VA is going to be tougher than both of those. But yeah, you typically want that stuff scheduled as soon as possible, and that's why as soon as you go into escrow, like, fingers crossed, hopefully you go into escrow today or tomorrow, right? You want to go ahead and get the attorney involved, right? Because you pick the attorney because you have the buyer, right?
Yes.
Yep. So once you have that signed deal, you're going to want to go ahead and email the attorney and let the lender know right away, and just start that process.
Okay. That sounds great.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Anyone else have any questions?
I'm still looking to shadow an open house. So if you know anyone who has an open
Okay.
house coming up or anything of that sort, please let me know.
Definitely need to get you on an open house. Well, this is your last one. Again, you can always still jump in these things if you don't have a bit.
There is a couple I missed because of work, so you'll most likely
Good.
see me
Good.
coming back on here.
Yeah. So the first one of next year, it's always a good one to jump on. You always see experienced agents in there as well on the first one in January, just because it's a good way to start the year, right? And it's about accountability and time blocking and all that stuff. So I'd recommend being on that one. But yeah, and again, just because you're done with Rev Up, again, remind me of that stuff, like the open house stuff, right? Or shadowing or something. Tyler's done a good job of like, hey man, next time you have an appointment, let me know. I want to ride with you, right? So if you guys need stuff, you gotta constantly reach out, right? So just because you're finished with a rev up doesn't mean that you should start reaching out and contacting us, right? So just get out there and do your thing. But again, come to these meetings still, and the next open house I have, I'll let you know, and we'll get you in there.
Okay, will the next rev up meeting be on January the 2nd or the following week?
What's everyone's schedule like? Does anyone have anything that Monday? I believe it's, I know it's not a holiday, but I think schools are out that day. Does that interfere with anyone's like kids, or is everyone able to attend the 2nd, or would the following week be better to start back?
I am okay.
Okay,
I'm good whenever you want.
all right.
Yes, me too.
Okay, I mean, we can just do it on the 2nd if that works for everybody. Yeah, I'm gonna be back at it 1,000,000% on the 2nd anyway, so might as well jump back in. So yeah, so the next 2 weeks, I believe, we'll be off. So you guys have a very good Christmas, Happy New Year, be safe, don't drink and drive. If you need anything in the meantime, call, text, email me. About
Brian?
half of you. Yes.
So next Monday will be our last one, last meeting.
So this was week 12. This was our last one of the year.
Oh, okay. So then
Yeah.
then I'm done. Okay.
Yeah. So the next one will start over on the 1st or on the 2nd. So we've got 2 weeks off. So the January 2nd will be our next meeting.
Mhm. Can the people who already attended these 12 weeks be on the next schedule? Where
Oh,
it's
of
like,
course. Yeah. I mean, it's you guys can always attend these things anytime. I mean, there's times that people jump in that just because they're having a slow time or they need a pep talk or whatever. Like you guys can join these every single Monday
Okay.
for the next 5 years.
sounds good.
And then there's certain ones like the Karen will join like on a listing one or something like that, something that she wants to learn more about. So there's certain titles that you want to like just focus on. You can join on those. So always welcome. And that's why we send these emails out to everyone in the company, right? Every single week. So yeah, always feel welcome to join in.
Thank you very much and happy holidays to you guys all.
Happy holidays. Hope Santa
Yeah,
brings you
you too.
guys all your favorite stuff.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holiday and Merry Christmas.
All right, later guys. Have a good one.
You too.